NBC News World Headquarters in New York. This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. Tonight, Bill Clinton knows that whatever else happens in his presidency, he will always have a black mark by his name. Only the third president to formally become the subject of an impeachment inquiry, which could lead to his removal from office. It was a mostly party line vote, with 31 Democrats joining the Republicans in approving an open-ended inquiry. Most of the other Democrats favored going forward with the process, but they wanted a time limit. NBC's Gwen Ifill tonight begins our coverage.
On a gloomy Washington day, 4 hours of debate brimming with emotion, frustration, and some bitterness, ending in a wrenching and historic moment.
It's our duty. It's an onerous, miserable, rotten duty, but we have to do it or we break faith with the people who sent us here.
The lopsided vote of 258 to 176, all Republicans voted for it, most Democrats voted against, guaranteed impeachment hearings will begin next month.
Even the President of the United States has no right to break the law.
In the end, 31 Democrats, most of them conservatives, who have disagreed with Clinton on other issues, crossed party lines to vote with a Republican majority in favor of hearings.
His actions were not inappropriate. They were predatory, reckless, breathtakingly arrogant for a man already a defendant in a sexual harassment suit.
At least 2 Democrats who normally vote with the White House, Lee Hamilton of Indiana, who is retiring, and Carolyn McCarthy of New York, who is running an easy re-election race, voted against the president today. But in last-minute appeals, Democratic House leaders lobbied for loyalty, if not to the president, then to each other.
We're all profoundly hurt by what the president has done. But this investigation must be ended fairly and quickly.
The tawdry and trashy thousands of pages of hearsay, accusations, gossips, and stupid telephone chatter does not meet the standard of high crimes and misdemeanors.
The Judiciary Committee hearings could feature testimony from Monica Lewinsky and the president.
I think we'll see a better chance for nonpartisanship to rear its lovely head. Now that this is behind us.
Talks have already begun on the best way for Democrats now to contain future damage. Part of that strategy is to get the White House to admit to some of Ken Starr's charges up front, moving what has quickly become a national spectacle to a speedy conclusion. Gwen Ifill, NBC News, the Capitol.
As for President Clinton, who knew by today that this inquiry was certain, he said the process should now go forward, and he pledged to stay on the business of the country. NBC's Claire Shipman at the White House tonight. Claire?
Tom, it may seem hard to believe, but the White House is trying to find some way, even a small way, to cast today's vote in a positive light. Fewer Democrats defected than expected, they point out, only 31. This, they say, was a partisan vote. But you don't have to push very hard to get them to admit here that the vote itself was clearly a defeat.
The president's reaction was one of cooperation, but with another message for Republicans, too.
I hope that we can now move forward with this process in a way that is fair, that is constitutional, and that is timely.
And the subdued Bill Clinton added he's accepted the uncertainty of the coming months.
It is not in my hands. It is in the hands of Congress and the people of this country. Ultimately, in the hands of God. There's nothing I can do.
But behind the scenes, aides are starting to map out a survival strategy. The midterm election and Democratic success is the first hurdle. He'll need that support in the hearings. But unlike the president's barnstorming 4 years ago, he'll largely sit this vote out.
The president has to take on a political strategy that maximizes the ability of Democrats to win in their seats. And if that means don't travel, if it means don't go into members' districts, then so be it.
Now, in terms of a strategy for the hearings, the White House doesn't know yet how closely it will work with Democrats on the Hill. Aides here, for example, haven't decided whether it will make sense for the president to testify before Congress if called. But one strategy they are already advocating, if anybody is listening, chipping away at Ken Starr and any perceived misconduct, making the hearings as much about Starr as Clinton.